What's up, guys? This is Ed here once again for the Blood Type Online YouTube channel. And I know I haven't done any videos in a while, so I'm kind of going to do something in accordance with the last videos that I actually put up on the channel, which were some of the panels from this past Spring Cinema Wasteland show. And I'm actually going to take this video right here to show you guys some of the cool stuff that I picked up at the show. So, first and foremost, I'm going to show you guys some of the movies that I got over here. Didn't buy that much as far as movies go this time. I usually, when I go to conventions, I pick up a ton of stuff, but for some reason this time that I didn't. And real quickly, before we get started, just to show you guys the pamphlet from the show. Very cool stuff here. This is, if you guys never went to Cinema Wasteland, this is basically their guide for the entire weekend, showing you all the stuff that's playing, layout of the dealer room, that whole thing. So that's the Cinema Wasteland pamphlet, if you will. So it's really weird because the only table that I bought any movies at this Cinema Wasteland was my main man with the plan, 42nd Street Pete. Anyway, he always runs some great deals at his table, so I did manage to pick up a few things. I want to show you guys some of this stuff. First off, haven't even watched this yet, but picked up a Blu-ray of Ichi the Killer. This was like a 3 for $25 Pete was running, so had to pick this one up. This is something that I actually remember at the Cinema Wasteland about 2 years ago maybe, where Jamie Gillis actually was there, and they had this special for the show, Summer of Sleaze, Jamie Gillis. It's basically like a half-hour Q&A kind of thing before a screening of one of his movies in New York City. And I had the chance to meet Jamie Gillis, and he was a really cool guy. Unfortunately, he has passed on, so rest in peace, Jamie Gillis. And I had to pick this up. So definitely, when you stop at Pete's table, you generally have to at least get some kind of smut. So that's exactly what I did. Picked up a copy of Insatiable with Marilyn Chambers. Really good adult flick. Hopefully YouTube doesn't kick me off for showing you that, but I doubt it. But that's the only 3 things that I actually bought as far as movies go. So wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I got signed at the show. And this was a show that I kind of went into not really knowing what I was going to get signed, but this is something that I definitely knew for a fact. This is my copy of House on the Edge of the Park, which is already signed by John Morgan, aka Giovanni Lombardo Radici, and now it's also signed right up here by David Hess. So it's just insane to me that I have this. I mean, as somebody who's always loved this movie, just to figure that I've met those 2 guys blows my mind. But got that signed. Also, there was a huge Cannibal Holocaust reunion there for the weekend. Carl Gabriel York, Francesca Ciardi was there, Ruggero Deodato was there, Robert Kerman was supposed to be there, but he couldn't make it. But show you guys the Cannibal Holocaust item that I had signed, which, if you guys have the Grindhouse releasing DVD of Cannibal Holocaust, you know there's a pretty kick-ass mini poster on the inside. This is a reprint of the Italian, I think, theatrical poster. And if you look real close, it's Francesca and Deodato. Sign that bad boy up. So, had to get that at the show. Just something super cool. I'm a huge fan of the movie, so once again, just to meet them was pretty insane. So it's insane that I even have something like that in my collection here. Something else I wanted to show you guys. One of my favorite all-time actors, no doubt about it, is Tom Atkins. Been in so many good movies. You know, The Fog. He's in Night of the Creeps. Shows up obviously in Halloween 3, which I actually like. And I just had to meet Tom, and I was pleased when he was announced to be at Cinema Wasteland, because I'd never had a chance to meet him before that. So I actually had him sign a copy of The Fog, just like an 11 by 17 poster. Atkins is the man. Super nice guy. Just was happy to have the opportunity to meet him. So have that. I do have a couple other things. One other thing that I got signed here, but I'm going to have to pick you up and take you over to show it to you, so bear with me here. Right here, as you can see, we have a poster for The Libertine, which is actually a movie produced by Radley Metzger, who he was at Cinema Wasteland, obviously. So that was really cool, and I had a really cool conversation with him about this, and I actually just had picked this up pretty on the fly, kind of, I guess, and I'm behind the camera now, just in case you're weirded out by not seeing me, but still hearing me. So, basically, met Radley, had a really cool conversation with him about The Libertine, told me how he basically edited the movie. He also produced it. And he said it was a French movie, and it was one of the movies he actually wished he had made himself. So that was really cool. So I want to show you guys that. I actually read this on the internet that unfortunately she had canceled out of her next convention appearance, but Tracy Lords was not at Cinema Wasteland. She was supposed to be at a convention called Days of the Dead, but unfortunately canceled. And there was a possible chance I was actually going to go to this show. Don't think that's going to happen, so I'm even more happy that I picked this up. Signed by Tracy. So, had to get that, man. I'm an old school adult movie fan, so kind of a nerd as far as that goes. And actually I have something else to show you that's kind of related to that. And I guess I could show you this real quick. But this is the guest list for the next show. This comes out every show. Like, whenever you go there, you find out the guests who are going to be at the next one. So, whenever I was looking at the guest list, I noticed one name in particular, Vanessa Del Rio. So I was like, okay, I got to find something really cool for her to sign. So I was looking all over the place, and I actually did find something really cool. Bear with me, I'm going to go grab it. It's kind of big, so hold on. As you hear me rustling with papers here, what I'm actually going to show you guys is a theatrical poster for Women in Love, which obviously has Vanessa Del Rio in it. So I wanted to show you guys that, just because I'm like, dude, I'm going to get her to sign something super, super cool. And I figured I got something super, super cool. So, sorry with all this moving in this video. It's a little weird. But, so that, I got that stuff. I actually have another really cool poster here. Those of you who watch my videos, I'm not sure how many of you are aware that I was a former co-host of a podcast called the Gut Munchers Podcast. And during my time with the show before it ended, we interviewed a ton of exploitation directors and people associated with exploitation films. And we had actually had the chance to interview a guy by the name of Jason Rutherford, okay? And he was making a documentary called Masters of the Grind. Jason is a really cool guy, and I can't wait to see this documentary. But, I mean, obviously I can't show you guys the documentary. I haven't even seen it. But I can show you something that I don't think too many people have seen. This is actually the poster for this thing, and it is amazing. This has some insane artwork on it, and I know that I'm one of the few people out there lucky enough to have one of these. He actually sent this one to John over at Gut Munchers for me, and I really appreciate that, dude. So everybody out there, look out for the documentary called Masters of the Grind. It's going to be so cool. He talked to some of the coolest exploitation directors ever, and got really a big chunk of the people that worked on some of those movies. People like Joel Reed, people like Graydon Clark, people like David Durston, another guy who unfortunately has passed on. I mean, he got the whole enchilada as far as the exploitation people go. So definitely keep on the lookout for that. Now, okay, I know a lot of people out there aren't even going to care about this, but I'm kind of a dork for something. And I talk to people all the time about Cinema Wasteland and how cool of a show it is. And the reason why the show is cool is obviously the guests kick ass. It's always a good time. There's lots of events and everything. But the thing is, if you go to Cinema Wasteland and you go on a regular basis, you tend to come back and leave with more friends at the show. And over the years, I made some great friends going to Cinema Wasteland. And my buddy Mark, a guy who, he's Canadian, super cool guy, actually knows that I'm a huge fan of professional wrestling. And I have been since I was a kid. But he actually brought me something to Cinema Wasteland that I thought was amazing, and I'm just going to share it with you guys right here. Back in the day, this is like in the late 90s, I was a huge fan of a wrestling company called Extreme Championship Wrestling, or ECW, okay? And we used to go to their shows all the time, me and my friends. We used to always try and get tickets to go to everything. We even went to a pay-per-view show that they had that was here in Pittsburgh in 1997. But that's a little bit of background there. But Mark knew I was a fan. And he actually had something in his collection that he had tried to get rid of, tried to sell it at one point, and it just didn't sell. And he said he didn't have the room for it anymore, and he knew I would appreciate it. And I'm just going to show that to you guys right now, and it has to do with the story that I just told about ECW. This is actually a replica ECW championship title belt. This thing is the real deal. This is as heavy like as you think they are. You know, this is like the real deal belt. And the cool thing is, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it's actually signed up by a bunch of people. And I don't know how many of you guys out there watching this video right now are like wrestling fans, but if you are a wrestling fan, you'll probably recognize some of the names. So Steve Corino's on here, Justin Credible, Jerry Lynn, Sabu, franchise Shane Douglas. But bottom line, this was really, really cool of Mark to do. So, Mark, thank you once again. I appreciate it. World Heavyweight Champion here at Blood Type Online. You guys know how that is. So, I'm just going to sit here with my belt. Basically tell you guys that Cinema Wasteland, once again, was a great show. Got to meet a lot of cool people, once again. And not just guests, but it was a blast all around. So, you know, from all my pals at Cinema Wasteland, you guys know what it's all about. But if you guys are watching this video and you've never been, you really owe it to yourself to at least come out once just to check out the show, because it's always a great time. It is the best convention in the world today. So that's it. Once again, I'm Ed. This is the Blood Type Online YouTube channel, and I'm the world champion, motherfuckers.